great to see everyone here. I want to talk about what are we going to see, what evolution we're going to see in commerce with AI and Web3. For those who are not familiar with me, just a quick intro. I'm one of the co-founders of Near Protocol. Before that, I was AI researcher at Google, where I worked on a bunch of different things, but kind of the most notable work is a paper called Attention is All You Need, which introduced transformers, the T in GPT. We then actually started as an AI company, Near AI, and we were trying to do vibe coding back in 2017. Now, back then, it didn't really work yet. We didn't have the amount of compute needed to make this work. And we were trying to engage a lot more people around the world to collect data, do data labeling, and specifically computer science students in Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia, China. And we needed to do commerce with them, right? We needed to pay them for work. And all of these countries have some kind of monetary control problem, kind of challenge. US sending money to China is like its own set of interesting problems. Students, some of them didn't have bank accounts. And so we started looking at blockchain as a way to solve this kind of very practical commerce problem. Now, commerce is evolving, right? Every time, every new technology, every new kind of approach, every new approach to money itself, the commerce has evolved, right? It went from a barter, a chicken for a cow, or multiple chickens for a cow, to use, gold coins, to kind of issued fiat, which is just a bond that government, says they owe you, to, multinational corporations outsourcing the work and, large supply chains that span the whole world, to internet and, online shopping and mobile, scrolling Temu and doing purchasing stuff on the go. And so every single technology is evolving how we actually participate in commerce. Now, there's a new evolution that's coming, right, with AI. There's new evolution that's been, already in progress with blockchain. And I think like this year been probably the first year where we saw true adoption of stablecoins, because we have like clarity on regulations. Every country now is like going and trying to figure out what they're going to do around this as well. And so this itself starts to reshape how things are happening. Now, what is commerce anyway, right? I use this word in the most generic sense, right? This includes everything from currency exchange, right? Cryptocurrency or traditional currency. This is supply chain, hey, I need 10,000 tons of steel delivered into this warehouse, sourced from Vietnam, for example, on, massive carriers, or your normal e-commerce, buying things, getting pizza, getting, food for dinner, as well as work orders, right? Like actually, the contracting someone to do some work. Again, this can be another company or individual or AI doing this work, right? So really, commerce here encompasses effectively any type of exchange of goods or services, and how that exchange gets facilitated, right? In blockchain, we frequently kind of limited to like either just crypto asset exchange, and we kind of stopped like there, right? A lot of the usage of blockchain kind of stops there. Now, the thing that's happening is that AI agents themselves are becoming economic agents. I actually was here on stage last year where I was saying agents are coming, right, in January 2025, and we've seen kind of an interesting, transformation that happened over the last year. But I think what's happening now is these agents are, like they have a wallet, they're able to do transactions. This happens through MCP servers, through like X402, through, kind of agents having infrastructure to control kind of crypto wallets. But they're now able to go and do economic transactions. Now, what this also means, they behave differently. Where we open Amazon and search for something and maybe look through the first 10 results, AI agent can look through 10,000, 100,000. Right? It doesn't matter which order they give in because it can actually analyze and scan through all of them. it doesn't matter that there's a recommendation bar, right, that is trying to convince us to buy more stuff, right? Agent will not get kind of convinced by that. So the way commerce is done is going to change for this agents becoming our effectively representative. And here, again, just from a mindset, think of agent effectively, if you were a superstar, you would have an agent that represents you in the commercial activity, right? Like the agent goes and negotiates your contract with, a movie, or it goes and figures out, how to, like real estate agent figures out how to buy an apartment, right? The idea here, you have somebody on your side aligned with your interests, but doesn't have the same kind of limitations that you may have. Like they have deep knowledge of that industry. They have a way to evaluate the best option, negotiate, push back, find the best result, right? So this is where we actually starting to approach with kind of this agentic economy. Now, as I said, like the current Web 2 stack, like the way traditional, Google's and Amazon's work is not really designed for this, right? If agent goes to Google right now and it gives you 10 results, it also tries to stop it and says, hey, you're a bot. Like that's already stops working, right? There's already a bunch of startups that are specifically focused for agentic search, enabling agents to actually search, results, get a lot more results, have a very different payment system, identity system. The kind of the ads model, the recommendation model, all of the business models that traditional e-commerce built on is as well kind of don't work in this new economy. And so like in a way, Google, who's built, like majority of Google's revenue is built on ads, is going away because of this, right? And they know it, they're trying to change it, they're going through subscriptions, right? They're transforming their business model in that sense as well. Now, on the business commerce, right, if you think you're running a business, right, you're a textile, you need chemicals to, treat the materials, right, that's still a very manual process, right? You're probably emailing a bunch of providers, seeing, what prices you can get, probably sending a bunch of legal contracts, via emails as well, figuring out, how to get invoiced, billing, do the billing payment. Usually it's like T plus 30, so 30 days for the actual money to arrive. So if you're on the other side, you need to ship the product now and then get paid 30 days later. So there's a whole trade finance to really close that loop. And so there's a lot of like complexity that comes with this that right now actually requires a lot of manual labor. And so like that is also, obviously, already doesn't work, but you're gonna get transformed dramatically. And kind of to map it to some of the, what I'm gonna introduce, right now, when you have some intent, right, like, hey, I want some, maybe I wanna buy a humidifier because it's too dry, I, go to a search, I, look through some of the results, open one of the websites, select the product, maybe go read a bunch of reviews, and then go through a payment checkout process that is third party as well. And so the challenge why Google needed to have an ads platform, because they're not actually capturing the payment system, right? They're not actually sitting on the transaction itself, so they need to kind of take over and monetize the attention. And so there is a better way, right? There is a new way we can do it by combining AI and Web3 and really kind of create a different approach to how we're gonna do commerce. We can go to, leverage crypto, global markets, access to all of the participants 24/7, and really leverage kind of this intent in a more direct way, where instead of going through Google search results, doing a lot of this manually, we go directly, issue the intent, find the counterparty, and really match with them. So kind of the idea is we have an intent engine. And so right now our intent engine is Google, right, or Amazon, kind of one of these aggregators, where we type in our intent and it gives us results, but we still need to go and do all the execution ourselves. And again, in the case of traditional business, there's no like actual even intent engine. Like there's no way to Google like who are the best, like what are the best factories that produce this kind of chemicals and like find their contacts, etc. It's all pretty manual. So here we have a new model where user or their agent can send a request. We have an intent engine that can effectively fan out and find the right participants who can actually deal with this request, and then get response. So request can be, I want a ticket, I want some chemicals, I want a pizza, I want to exchange Bitcoin for Ethereum. And you have, we call them solvers, effectively counterparties who are saying, cool, I'll do it. This is how much it's going to cost. This is how long it's going to take. Maybe other constraints that involve in this, right? So in a way, this request for quote system, who are familiar in trading, but it is inherently a P2P system, right? You're transitioning from kind of having the centralized aggregators like Amazon and DoorDash to really having an engine that can map you to a party that you can then do direct negotiation and transaction with. Now, you still need kind of a neutral infrastructure to do this search and the settlement, right, the actual agreement. And so that's where blockchain comes in. So, you can have, as I said, like individuals or businesses and their AIs that represent them to actually do this kind of intents. They can issue them, they can execute them, and you can have, product producers, factories, service providers, market makers, effectively sitting on the other side. And you can even stitch multiple things together, right? Again, let's say I want to get some chemicals delivered. Now, it's not going to be a single provider, right? There's a factory that makes these chemicals. There's a delivery that will go to port. There's a ship that's going to arrive. There's insurance that's going to come in case something happens on the way. There's maybe kind of a financing option that will be embedded into this because all these products are on the way for a period of time. You don't want to lock the capital. So all of this can be really plugged in using multiple providers into the system, right? So that's kind of the new way of doing agentic commerce, where you effectively have agents working both on your behalf to issue this intent and on behalf of businesses and kind of manufacturers, factories, service providers to really respond and satisfy them. The cool thing, actually, before we go to the next slide, here is it doesn't need to happen on both sides right away. Like, you can actually have kind of AI agent that says, cool, this factory doesn't have, it's not integrated yet into intents infrastructure. Well, actually, the AI will just call them to their phone number and put the order and actually wrap effective factory from its perspective, right? It can send an email directly as well and say, hey, we need this purchase. So you can actually, using AI, abstract out, even if not everyone is plugged in, to kind of still put them into the system. And that's why really you're getting this kind of unified liquidity, unified markets in one place through this intent, because different AI agents can be sophisticated in different way how they actually get the product out of the providers. Now, things go wrong, right? And one of the important pieces, like what happens when the product didn't get delivered, right? You ordered something from Amazon, the package got lost on the way. And so it's really important that this whole system has a way to do conflict resolution. And so again, if you're a consumer and your package doesn't get delivered, you whatever, text Amazon, they maybe refund you. When we're talking about, like, again, a industrial commerce, this is way more complicated, right? Because this is actually where most of the cost of products going. At least 50% of the cost of products we're consuming is actually in the cost of legal and kind of insurance work that goes in to insure against something going wrong. The counterparty didn't actually ship it. Something happened with the ship, delays, etc. And so it's really important to have a system that can minimize and makes this cost effective for everyone. And that's how we, in general, actually going to reduce the cost of all items for everyone in the world. So what we have here, well, when you're making this agreement, right, with the other party, you also agree on who is going to do conflict resolution, right? This can be another counterparty, like this can be literally a court or a legal system, or it can be actually an AI, right? An AI can be effectively a judge that evaluates the whole transaction and understands what happened in the real world, the context. The ship got, for example, I don't know, in the bad weather, and so it got delayed by 1 day. So maybe there's like some reduced payment that's done by the party that bought it, or package wasn't even sent by the originator, and so the full fund needs to be refunded, right? So this is one of the approaches how we can actually reduce the overall drag on the commerce, where you don't even need a massive amount of legal work to get this contract done, and you can also have the judgment, the evaluation, the conflict resolution to be a lot faster and a lot cheaper. Yeah, so this, as I said, this is not just for Web3, right? The kind of core idea that this infrastructure can facilitate any commerce, any kind of request. Again, I used examples with traditional, supply chain. You can do this with, contracting a firm to, for example, remodel this building, right? I need to remodel this building. This is my intent. My outcome is, a refreshed whatever kitchen or bathroom, and you find the counterparty, you find the contractor that will do it. The money gets put in an escrow. They do it, and then there's a conflict resolution system where you film the result, it analyzes it, and says yes, it was done well. Let's do the payment. So, kind of, it really wraps the whole process, not just the payment itself, like what we used to on blockchain, where we're transferring just stable coins or tokens, but really the whole kind of commercial flow from finding who you're dealing with to actually contracting to figuring out if the outcome was achieved or not. And so broadly, even beyond actually, like right now, when people talk about AI adoption, a lot of people are just trying to automate some parts of the kind of existing systems in their company. And it's really hard because you're getting actually a very small improvement from doing that. This idea really is about automating the whole outcome, right? You're actually getting to the outcome right away, which may still require people under the hood to actually do the work, but you're getting a lot higher benefit from doing this end to end. And you can get a lot of benefits from crypto here because if you purchasing something from Hong Kong and delivering it to Portugal, right? There's euro to HKD exchange rate that you can get a lot better price now with stablecoin adoption happening on both sides. So you're getting actually benefits from leveraging crypto where it's kind of beneficial and getting the outcome you want. So really abstracting out this for both sides and enabling kind of matching on a global scale. Now, this is kind of, a great vision, but where are we today? Well, so we launched Near Intents as kind of this overarching protocol with specifically focusing on crypto assets and crypto trading. And it's been growing really well. It's been doubling every month up until November, and kind of attracting more and more people who want to leverage it, both developers and users, as well as overall volume, which just crossed 9 billion a couple of days ago. And it's integrated in a lot of different ecosystems, as well as a lot of different wallets and applications. And so really kind of saturating the Web3 market, right? Where we're trying to really facilitate Web3 trading, crypto to crypto, asset to asset. This is an example of a near intents front end where you can trade any asset, as well as Zcash wallet called Zashi, where you can actually pay out into any asset from your Zcash, from your shielded Zcash, using the same methodology, right? So it works for payments directly. We also launched Near AI Cloud and Private Chat, which is the infrastructure to run the agents in a private and verifiable way, because you want to ensure when you do commercial activity that your agents are private and verifiable. Now, on top of that, last month, we launched the first example of e-commerce, where you can actually describe the travel you want to do. Let's say I want to travel from Lisbon to London. I have 2 kids, so I need 4 tickets. And it effectively converts this to an intent and queries different travel agencies to find what is the best option for me, and kind of shows me one option, and I can explore more. So this is already starting to show you how this works in the e-commerce world, where you can really find the best option from what's available in the market. and pay with crypto, which is great. Now, beyond that, in the near term, you can imagine this working with just purchasing different objects like products, right? You go, you say, hey, I want headphones. It maybe queries, Amazon on one side, eBay on the other side, whatever local, stores, like there's like 3 or 4 local stores here in Portugal, finds me this. My AI agent then scores based on knowing a lot more about me and gives me a one-click purchase, again, paying with my crypto or with my fiat directly to these products. Similarly, you can do for work, right, where you're actually hiring agents to work on specific projects, right? Right now, you actually, you either using agent yourself to do stuff or you asking somebody to then go and use AI, but you can actually have this end-to-end flow. And so more medium term, we're going to have this streamlined global trade, right, where you're like, hey, how do we go and work with existing trade companies to really streamline a lot of the manual process? Again, people are doing WhatsApp and email to do supply chain management. It's extremely kind of manual work. Finally, long term, as I kind of explained, this agentic commerce, where your individual AI agents are effectively creating a full plans, right? Like your meal plan for the next week, that gets dispatched. The AIs on the other side are able to, send it over to farms and food processing companies to construct the full meal, and then it gets delivered to you already in a way that can be, your home robot can actually go and cook it for you and put it in front of the table, right? So this is really like a full end-to-end AI on every side, really kind of moving the economy toward like this end-to-end planning done by AIs on both sides. There's an interesting kind of concepts here where we're transitioning from pure kind of market economy that right now still has a lot of waste to kind of AI economy where AI is actually doing the planning, right? And there's a whole interesting separate talk about how, this is both different from kind of planned economy that, you saw tried and failed, and capitalism economy where, there's over-provisioning of resources, where there is enough money, but there's under-provisioning on the other side. These can actually provide a way more even distribution of resources. Now, given I'm out of time, I'm going to skip a few things. I'll just finish with this idea that we are kind of in front of a new economic paradigm, right? This is not just AI or blockchain. This is not just, crypto casino or, vibe coding. This is truly changing how the core of economy is going to work, how the general problem of how you allocate limited amount of resources to everyone in the world is going to be done, and it's going to be done by using those technologies at the core. And it needs to be user-owned. It needs to be kind of really focused on individual success. So Near is building a lot of these components. We have kind of infrastructure to do this. And so I'm happy to share this, and we'll be talking a lot more about different aspects of this. Thank you.